Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another LEGO Top 10 MOCs of the Week episode where I show you the coolest custom creations I happen to see people building in LEGO bricks from this last week. The world of creative LEGO building has not slowed down by one tiny percentage. In fact, I think it's only getting more and more prevalent. There are tons and tons of cool creations linked in the description below, way more than 10. We'll have some honorable mentions before the top 10. And before that, let me first just say that the custom building instructions that have popped up in the web store this week are from the builder Thomas Jenkins. This is the updated version of the V19 Torrent. The model is somehow smoother, it's a little bit more proportionally accurate, especially with the length of the wings, and the handling and transformation functions also just work a bit better. It is a hands down improvement, and it's awesome to see models evolving over time with better techniques. Check out the link in the description below if you want to see the video or buy the instructions. And now let's see some honorable mentions of the week. Dan42BR built a few different 4-stud wide cars. They look awesome. This is the same scale that you see with those really small city sets, and the detail here is excellent at this size. Andreas Lenander calls these cube bots BN1 and BN2. They are some fun little robotic figures with cube heads. Jan, the creator, has the Black Falcon's watch tower with a fun build for rooftop as well as stairs. The builder Fabrice has built an Executor. It looks like a UCS scaled model, or even bigger than UCS scale. And then Jafa has an excellent looking Chameleon. It's extremely colorful, and it also looks like it can be built in real life without too much difficulty. Aero Okonen has the Toa Nokama, and it's part of a larger line of Toa builds from a variety of different designers. You let me know which one is your favorite. And lastly, here is a commissioned build from Aaron Newman. This is the Masonic Eagle for the Scottish Rite Masons in Lexington, Massachusetts. It's an excellent looking model. Now let's jump into top 10 of the week, starting off with Donald from the designer God Dog Brick Design. This Lego bust has some excellent proportions. Donald Duck looks as recognizable as he could at this size, and the builder here really was creative with different types of sloped bricks to allow some of the line detailing for Donald's face to really pop through, like the eyebrows and eyes. Strangely enough, there's also an interior for this one, which is definitely something I was not expecting. And then let's jump over to a build from Nick Brick. This is the Lego Polaroid land camera OneStep. Next to the original version, it is, at least at first glance, hard to tell which one is the real version of the camera. The size and proportions look pretty much exact, and there are some fun creative little details thrown in to really make this look like the original version of the camera. It's certainly a fun looking model. If somebody walked up to you pretending to take a picture, you might not immediately know it's Lego bricks. These aren't in any particular order of best to worst, just my 10 favorite builds. This next one up in the line is from Calebrix. The title is the Cerulean Star MOC. The description says that this is designed from Kuat Systems Engineering, so it's supposed to fit somewhere within the Star Wars universe, though this is a completely creative design, or at least I'm assuming it is. It's got an excellent base color with the sand blue and some subtle details thrown in for some fun shapes along the body. My personal favorite bits of design are the dark red bar details that outline some of the cylinders. I like the thin, almost vent intake that comes along towards the back center, and an extremely unique, interesting shape for the cockpit in the front. You tell me what you think about it fitting in with the aesthetic of the Star Wars universe. I think it's spot on. And now we're looking at a very interesting micro scale build from the designer KitKat1414. The title is Living in the Sky with Diamonds. Probably the main thing that at least popped out to me immediately was the animate style of building for the rooftops. They arc and curve, they feel almost like they're drawn in place, but in fact everything has been studded in one way or another. The foundation of this building is loosely attached to some interesting tiles. We have an extremely narrow build for the slopes that make up the tower of the windmill, and just about every piece that's used to create a smaller detail is a pretty unique type of connection. This is number 6 now in the lineup from the builder Dark Small. The title here is The Lost Organ. The organ is nestled up against a large rounded boulder, and I really enjoy the cluttered and unorganized piling of leaves that we have that makes up the overgrown nature bit of detailing at the base. It really does make this whole model feel very, very dense with its overgrowth. The leaves are all sticking in between tiny crevices on the rocks, which is a fun detail, and the build for the organ itself is absolutely excellent. I can see lever pieces wedged into grills to make up the keys, and even some dinghies that are used to outline the wooden encasing for some of the organ pipes. This is an extremely dense and well thought out atmosphere, and the creativity really shows. Here's my favorite figure build of the week from the designer Mitch Phillips. The title is Udar. Now at first glance I'd say 99% of this model is built with the flat silver pieces, so there's a little bit of reflectiveness that goes along the gray body. There's an inclusion of a couple of pieces that can be found within BrickVault figs like from the Star Wars line, but most of this is just a variety of different tubes, macaroni pieces, a little bit of Bionicle, some Technic, and ultimately it creates a character that somewhat reminds me of like Ultron, but wholly different, especially when you look up towards the head. It almost has this weird godlike feature to it. My favorite bit of design is the use of all those much thinner, more flexible pieces that are running along the arms and torso, and it's just such a unique, interesting figure design that I could not ignore it. Now for this next one from the builder Greg Dix, this is the Return of the King. We did get to see a teaser picture last week, and now you get the full spectrum of what this castle really looks like, and it is amazing. The nougat rooftops really highlight against the castle walls well here, and it's one of these dioramas that has a bit of everything. There's some moat action happening, some tasteful rock detailing, there's springtime flowers on the outside, and then it's an actual moment for the castle itself. The king is being welcomed back by the knights and the village or whoever's living in here. You can see some celebration with trumpets. It is a complete scene, it's a complete structure, it's an amazing diorama, and I think the biggest build for the top 10 of the week. Now let's jump down to something a little smaller. The designer Moko has built the Gameboy Robo, and it is, like so many of the designs that come from this builder, a transformable robot build that looks like a Nintendo Game Boy and also can transform into this robotic little guy right here. The design for the Game Boy outright is pretty excellent, and very few artifacts are left over on the outside of the body here that ultimately allow for the transformation for the robot into the final form here. You can make this creation, and he has an entire build video on his YouTube channel that shows you exactly how to do that. All right, next up, number 2 is a very different kind of design. The builder is Mihai, Marius, Mihu, and the title is Alien Assimilators, Alien Maintenance Bay Half. There is a huge backstory to this model within the description, but suffice it to say we have an extremely unique universe that we're looking at here. The shapes and architecture style immediately reminded me of something from H.R. Geiger, but there's also some wholly unique shapes and designs as well. Lots of arcing details, curving slopes, and mechanical patterned details that have an almost organic effect to them, yet ultimately represent complex looking machinery. The contrast between the solid dark gray for the main bit of base works really well for the black top, and the white and light blue highlights for the main sort of front and center looking design pieces. There's a lot of thought and effort put into the ultimate presentation for these shapes, and it helps really highlight lots of the building techniques, and the sheer size and scale of this model is also something that cannot be just shrugged off. It really is a huge creation. Now this last model is yet another amazing creation from the builder Rocco Buttliere. The title is Crown of All Palaces, and we are looking at the accurate scale version of the Taj Mahal and the subsequent area that surrounds it. Having been to this exact spot myself, I can tell you that he managed to get this down to a T. This is basically when you get in through the front gate, everywhere you are allowed to go to when you are in the Taj Mahal area. This little structure here is where everybody's lining up to take that one photo that looks like everybody else's Taj Mahal photo. There's a wonderful walkway with fountains, and then the sheer scale of this creation The sheer scale of the building, or all the structures really in this area, is just not translated both in photos and of course in this Lego build. This designer I now associate with some of the best micro scale building techniques out there. You see new things and new types of connections every single time a large scale project like this comes out. And there's also a video that the designer put up where he talks about the more direct inspiration for working on this particular project. This is one of those projects definitely worth taking a closer look at, especially if you want to get inspired on how certain types of looks were achieved at such small scales. And that is going to be it for my personal favorite top 10 MOCs of the week. Let me know which ones were your favorite, of course, in the comments below. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoy our content, you can always like, subscribe, comment, share, check out the web store if you want, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.